Hi, thank you. My English is not very good. And I think about this for a long, long time. And I have a question. What's the difference between the impulse and the hunch?
Same.
Same? I got a lot of impulse.
The question is, in other words, whether it's a hunch, a feeling about something, or an impulse. The impulse may be a little stronger. It may be a little momentum. It may be the grid filling in a little stronger way. But they are essentially the same. But a bigger question is, from what vibrational position is the hunch or the impulse attracted? Because it's a grid bringing it. In other words, you can get hunches that don't serve you, and impulses that don't serve you, or hunches that do. And so we would like to say that the emotion that comes with it is your indicator of whether it's in alignment with who you really are, or whether it's one of those other grids that's just filling in.
Let's say this. Number 10 is the vortex. Number 1 is the powerless. I am constant in the level 3 or 2. So 90% of my impulse is wrong. So I don't know what's the difference.
Someone said to us one day, my impulses are wrong, so my inner being must not be smart. And we said, no, you're getting your mother. And what we mean by that is you develop these patterns of expectation, and it takes a little while before you can really read the impulse, to know the impulses to follow. You have to first have consciously decided that you want to feel good.
Yes.
You have to first be willing to. Our friend that we began with today, it was thrilling to us that he has decided, against quite a bit of resistance around him, to stop going to school right now. That wasn't an easy thing for him to do, because there is a lot that is happening around him that is pulling him in a different direction. But his desire to feel ease took precedence over everything. And that really is the most important thing. You have to decide that you want to feel good and show yourself how to feel good before the impulses that come to you. It's sort of like, an impulse is sort of like a knee-jerk reaction. And you could be engaged in conversation with someone who could have such an opinion of you and already have formulated their decision about who you are.
Yes.
And their feeling about you could be so strong that your impulse would be to prove them right.
Yes.
It happens all the time.
Yes.
More with children than with anyone. In other words, when you decide that your child is inappropriate or naughty, or they will prove you right again and again and again and again, and it happens with all of you. And so when you find yourself, when you come to the conclusion that you've come to, that your impulses are not right, then acknowledge that you're letting something else other than who you really are and what you really want be the dominant thing in the grid. That's the only way to explain it. And the remedy is to get back to the basics of how you feel. Do you spend time in meditation?
Yes, but over 6 months.
So, and when you meditate, are you able to find that place of detachment?
No.
So next time you sit to do it, and there's no rush to it, but you will enjoy this.
Okay.
Next time you sit to do it, find something to focus on that occupies your mind. Your mind is very busy. You want to think about things.
Yes.
And so you want to find something that you can think about that isn't a very big thought. So for Esther, it is the flickering of a flame. She even found a little candle that isn't real, that she can just turn it on, and it mimics something that is real. And just watching it is very, it takes concentration to stay focused on it. Or listen for a sound. And as you find something to focus upon that requires some concentration, you'll find that other thoughts will deactivate. They just have to. If you're not keeping the thought active, its vibration will slow. It will become deactivated. And as that occurs, your core vibration comes on in a stronger way. And you will begin to feel emotion move within you. It will feel like peacefulness. It will feel like well-being. You might even find yourself moved to some emotion that you would call tear as relief occurs from the distraction. And once that happens, it might take a week before you find that place. But once that happens, if you will just meditate every day for 15 or 20 minutes, not more, you will activate within yourself that core vibration, and you will never again have an impulse that you don't identify as one that is coming from a really good place. People often use the logic of their mind. It works like this. We're going to explain this to you. You're really going to hear this.
Okay.
Esther's had this experience many, many, many times through the years. So you get a hunch about something, sort of like a psychic, intuitive hit about something. And the fact that you got it makes you sort of hope it's true.
Yeah.
Because you got this psychic hunch. You got this hunch about it. And what we explained to Esther is, the grid's going to fill in with evidence. The hunch is going to be proved. The question is, do you want this to happen? And if you don't think about it. Okay. In other words, sometimes you're picking up. There was a woman in San Francisco traveling across those Bay Bridges, and she said, Abraham, I've driven across these bridges for years, and now I'm having panic attacks when I drive across them. What's happening to me? And we said, oh, you're just picking up on thought forms on the bridge, which she did not like the idea of. But we said, you have to be in the vibrational vicinity of the fearful thought. There'd been an earthquake, and part of the bridge had fallen down, and so there were a lot of people feeling fear around the bridges. And we said, you're picking up on that. And she didn't really understand why, because she was not really afraid of an earthquake. She had been on the bridges a lot. She'd been in the area most of her life. And so we said, what do you think has happened to you that is causing you to feel more vulnerable? She said she wanted to lie on the floor of the car until she got across the bridge. We said, what do you think has activated your feeling of vulnerability? And she knew right away. One of her neighbors had been burglarized. So she'd been attending meetings to put up bars or to get a security guard or to put a gate into the neighborhood. So she had activated her feeling of vulnerability, and now she had access to the thought forms on the bridge. So her impulse now, her hunch, was something that she didn't understand where it was coming from. Every impulse is a grid filling in. Let's just start there. Oh, the end of the day, and here comes that nugget. Every impulse is a grid filling in. And if there wasn't a vibration that preceded it, then there would be no impulse, which is the grid filling in. So then you just want to ask yourself, if it's hunches that aren't panning out, or if it's hunches that, then where's that grid coming from? What kinds of thoughts have I got going on that are perpetuating that grid? You following?
Yes.
And if you will start with meditation, and then it will lead to making lists of things that you are appreciating, and then it will lead to making lists of positive aspects. It will lead to making lists of hunches that have paid off. Before you know it, you will have activated that grid, and you will, because law of attraction is working powerfully with you right now, because you are intense in the questions that you are asking.
Yes.
You really, 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 really want to know this.
Yes, yes.
And all of us really, 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 really want you to understand this.
Thank you.
And we are really, 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 really offering you impulses. And as you feel us, along with the impulse, it will feel interesting. It will feel exhilarating. It will feel exciting. Reach for those feelings. And if you're not feeling any of those feelings, then don't do it.
Okay. Okay,
enough?
thank you very much. Yes. Thank you, thank you.
That was our favorite conversation of the day in the evolution of the subject of the grid, because the hunches that you get or the impulses that you get are the grid filling in. And it's really worth acknowledging that grids are going to fill in. They're going to fill in, and you want to be aware of which grid is filling in, and you want to be aware. Sometimes you can even trace it back to what you were doing or what you were thinking that got that grid going, can't you? Don't get carried away with trying to analyze your thoughts or try to remember everything that you've been thinking. But as you be sensitive to the way that you are feeling, as you are conscious of things occurring, impulses coming, as things happen, don't just consider them luck or coincidence in the way that so often you've thought of coincidence. Think of it as an incident that is co-creating, as a rendezvous that is occurring, as a law of attraction rendezvous that is coming in response to a vibration that you've got going on. Esther went through a phase some years ago where she really got it, that she was the point of attraction for her. And for weeks, when something wonderful would happen, she would crow. I did that. And when something not so wonderful would happen, she would still crow. I did that. It's such a wonderful thing to acknowledge that the things that are coming to you, that the people that you're talking with, that the things that they're saying, that the way the traffic flows, that the articles that you are reading, that every single thing that you are rendezvousing with, everything right down to the last detail is coming in response to the vibrational patterning over which you have complete control. And as you begin exercising it, you will restore yourself to your conscious awareness of the rightness of you, of the worthiness of you, of the bigness of you, of the grandness of you, of the fullness of you, of the wholeness of you, of the goodness of you, you see. These are the impulses that we so enjoy hinting, offering, radiating, emphasizing. And when something thrills you, it is our desire that you understand that it is our thrill that you are feeling. When you feel that love that just radiates right to the very center of that which you are, you've tapped into the love that we have for you. It's such a nice thing when you recognize it. There is a great love here for you. And as always, we remain joyously aware of you and in the vortex. Thank you so much. It was a fantastic day. Yeah.